Hello again. This is another review of mine. I'm going to talk about another locomotive. You'll notice that I've added the NRM black one up at the back here. Now I've already talked about that in another video, so go check it out wherever the list of videos is. Now, firstly I'm going to talk about this one in the middle. It's well, actually the chassis is a 1993 tender driven chassis. About 2-3 years ago I decided she's looking a bit tatty. She'd been stored for a long time. The buffers had come off, there was no smoke pot store. She needed a bit of a refurbish, and well, one of the other things was that many years ago the original tender body, I managed to make a massive scratch in the side of it and it looked atrocious. I do still have that. It's in storage somewhere. It'll probably end up being part of a project at some point. Still drinking the beer, by the way. Like I say, it's tender drive, which is actually quite handy to have when you've got a lot of DC locos, because you can pair it up with a newer tender, a newer rolling tender, so she can be dragged along in like a double head formation without the locos fighting each other essentially. Now this one, this was originally paired with that. There is actually the Hornby Legends Flying Scotsman, which essentially is the modern railroad equivalent, but has a lot of additional detail. The lining is greatly enhanced, additional brake rigging, and I've actually put a crew in this one. I had a crew lying about, so I thought, I'm going to have a go at putting a little crew in there. They're painted in grey, and yeah, kind of just puts a bit more life into it. There's no glazing on this model, but the lining is much more finer. However, unlike the super detail one, it doesn't have the opening top there. Going along the body, the famous nameplate, of course, and some actually surprisingly fine motion. Yeah, I was mildly impressed with this model actually, considering that it was £58 from Argos. Actually, about, yeah, like I said, 2 years ago I think I bought this. Now, it's supposed to be an A1, but you'll notice when it focuses that it actually says A3. Slight mistake there, as it's got the original style dome and everything. However, I was fortunate enough to get a super detail tender to pair up with it. I think I paid about £15 for this actually, but it looks a lot better than the tender which originally come with it, which is the old fat and really, well, the former tender drive mechanism actually. Yeah, I decided that this one had to be replaced. I keep that around though, because I like to pair it up with that, so I can have a rolling Flying Scotsman. Yeah, and with the super detail tender, it's got the flashes and the step detail. It doesn't have the rotating, the pivoting wheel like the older design. It's it takes second radius curves quite easily. In fact, it goes around quite well, and that looks fantastic, and almost to A1 spec Flying Scotsman, circa 28 to 37. However, unlike the super detail one over the back there, the Legends model actually has the DC socket in the locomotive itself, which is fortunate really, as when I added this tender, I actually had to take out and disconnect some of the wiring, because what would be for the tender's pickups in this tender is wired differently to how it was in here, and it was causing a short. So basically ripped all the wiring out of this, and so it's just a rolling non-pickup tender. Yeah, not a bad model. I think everyone and their mum has got a Flying Scotsman of some description, especially on eBay, but people tend to try and charge 40 quid for their old 1973 model. Why it's actually not worth that, I don't know. But yes, you can't have a layout without a Flying Scotsman, and in this case I've got 3. And I don't think it's going to end with that. I think I'm going to end up getting another one at some point. I would like the American version. There was an Australian version as well, modelled on a trip for the bicentennial in 1988-89, and there was also back in 93 2 other models, the 1924-28 model with the which had the LNER crest on the side, and the GNR style 8-wheel tender, and LNER 4472. Although I'd really love a model of Great Northern with a GNR 11 livery, with GNR 1470 on it, but yeah, maybe one day they'll bring one out. I know that there's an LNER version, and it's quite exquisite and quite rare. So there was another model of Scotsman, I believe, which was the Millennium one, which actually had gold plating on the wheels and what have you, but it's an extortionate price, and I don't think it's really worth it. It's although from what I remember, it's modelled on the post-war Flying Scotsman. Is it with just 103 on the side, I believe. But yeah, can't go wrong with a model of Scotsman. Lots of reviews of them. Just have a look in the lists at the side, you'll see probably a load come up. If it's not one of my videos, it'll be a Flying Scotsman video, really. Yeah, can't really say much more about this one, really. It's a regular, really, on just about every single train set in the country. Can't go wrong. Can pick them up for, you can pick up the railroad one for £40 odd. And of course the super detail NRM version is 146 at the moment, with the deflectors and everything, as she has been and will be in a short while. Although I do really look forward to seeing her running on the main line in black. I'm running out of things to say, and the timer's running down on my camera again, so I shall bid thee farewell. Thank you.